Shalom to the house of Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, as mentioned in James 1 and 1. Shalom to the heathen, mentioned in 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 33 and 34, is hearing and understanding and having a shepherd in the end of the world. Shalom to all the sons of Adam, but Israel first. Okay, I got a question. Does Christ explain the sin of murder when he explains the sin of adultery? Let's see. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 27. It says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. So Christ is telling you, if you look at a woman that's married and you have thoughts of sleeping with her, or you desire to sleep with her, you committed adultery because you coveting. You see what I'm saying? You know she married, because we know the sin of adultery is committed with a woman that's married. We know that a man that sleeps biblically, we know that a man that sleeps with a woman that is married, that is adultery. So we know that. So when you have thoughts of sleeping with a woman that's married, the Most High recognizes that if you had a chance, you would do that. If he allowed things to line up and you had that opportunity, he knows you would do that. So Christ is telling you, if you think of sleeping with a woman that's married, if you do that, you've already committed adultery. So let's analyze what I said. I said when Christ explains the sin of adultery in Matthew 5, verse 27 and 28, when he explains a way that you can commit adultery without actually doing the act, when he explains that, is he kind of helping you understand murder too? Let's see. Okay, this is Matthew 5 and 19. This is about your thoughts. This is Christ speaking again. It says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are things you have to think about before you do. So that's why Christ's telling you, if you look at a married woman and you think about hitting that, you just committed adultery. Because again, the evil that you're going to do, you're going to contemplate that evil before you do it. But let's show you something interesting about murder or killing. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. This is the Most High speaking. It says, I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So, would you agree that the Most High is claiming responsibility for all death in that verse? Let's precept that. To kind of back that up. This is Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. Now, this is going to back up what we just read in Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So the Most High is the one that made those spirits. And it's his anger that's going to get the hammer dropped on you. It says fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So the Most High created, who hold a sword? Do swords just fly up and stab you? Does a gun just lift up? Its hand, just raise up in the air and start popping at your dumb ass? Start throwing at you? But the Most High just told you in Deuteronomy 32 and 39, it says, see now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So the Most High just said, I'm the one that killed and make, he killed and he make alive. Then in Ecclesiastes 39, he tell you that them spirits that's created for vengeance, they gonna appease his anger towards you. So is Exodus 20? Is Exodus 20? And what's that about? 8 or something? Let me see, Exodus 20. Exodus 20 and 13, it said, thou shalt not kill. Is that really telling you don't think to kill nobody? Because you really can't do it. Because the Most High had to put that on you. He had to hit that switch on you. Is that what that's? Is them verses proving that the Most High is really the one who has somebody take that hammer and go knock you down? You know what I'm saying? Is that really what's going on? Because you got problems with a bunch of people. Murderers got problems with a bunch of people, but they only do certain ones though. Why? Huh? Does Christ explain the sin of murder when he explains the sin of adultery? Let's go back to Matthew 15 and 19. For out of the heart proceeded evil thoughts. So that's proving that the heart is your mind. It says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries. It's murders first. Murders first, then adulteries. Now Christ said in Matthew 5 and 27 that if you look at a woman and think about, that you committed adultery. But adultery is committed with a married woman. As far as sex, the sin of adultery that pertains to sex is committed with a married woman. The man has to sleep with a woman that's married. That's how a man. Let's prove that. Okay, proving what adultery is. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and adulteress shall surely be put to death. So we see where adultery involves a man that sleeps with a woman that's married. So we showed that. Let's show something else, a little more for that. Oh, this is showing how a woman commits adultery. This is Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 32. It says, but as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband. So you let somebody else crack other than your husband. That's how adultery is committed. So hopefully I've proven that. If you don't feel like I proved that, now I'm gonna show you another way where a man commits adultery where he's not actually having sex. Let me show that. Mark 10 and 11, it says, and he saith unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. So that's just saying, if a man have a wife and he get rid of her and take another wife, he committing adultery against his first wife. Because you can't put away your first wife. You got to just take on another one. That's what it is. But this is important, man. Very important. So this video is about the sin of murder, but I was making the point that Christ is explaining a couple sins when he says in Matthew 5 and 27 and 28, when he says that, let's reiterate that. It ain't going to hurt us to see that again. When Christ says that in verse Matthew 5 and 28, it says, "But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." It's saying your thoughts. Your thoughts. Because the Most High know if you had the opportunity, you do that. You do it. You understand what I'm saying? So when to commit murder, you have to think of it first. To kill somebody, you got to think of it first. You got a reason. You got a reason you think in your mind is why you're doing this. But a lot of people have done you wrong, and you didn't kill them. You got to go ahead to do it. We read Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. You got to go ahead to do it. You see what I'm saying? But we must understand from Christ, this is, again, I go back to stuff because I'm trying to make a point. Matthew 15 and 19 says, "For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies." You know what I'm saying? False witness, you got to think about the lie you're going to tell about somebody before you tell it. You got to think about hurting someone before you hurt them. You got to think about committing adultery before you commit adultery. So he's saying that's where it starts. You guilty of it from that. You guilty of it from that. Now, the Most High might call your number and let you cook yourself right there. You might be that vessel from Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. You understand? You could be picked as that vessel. But the person you want to kill the most, I could just let them get in a car accident and have them have a stroke. But he could go ahead and take you down through there by letting you do the act. But let's show something else about our thoughts. Okay, this is something to go with what I mentioned about something about our thoughts. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 7. It says, "For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things has knowledge of the voice. Therefore he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance when it punish pass by him." So if you speaking wicked things, you thought about them. It says vengeance not going to pass by you. Vengeance not going to pass by you for what you said. And we know that what you said is what you thought. You thought it before you said it. Because you can't say nothing that you didn't think. Right? So let me keep going. This is the Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 9. "For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly." The plan. That's the plan, the thoughts that you had. Your thoughts going to be took a look at. It don't say your works right there. Because everything that you want to do, you ain't going to get to do that. Most High going to let you do that. You understand? So, this is Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 9. It said, "For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his words shall come unto the Lord for the manifestation of his wicked deeds." So your thoughts gonna manifest out your mouth, and then the thing that you said could manifest into your deed, your action, what you did. Because it say in Ecclesiastes 39 and 28 that the most, in Deuteronomy 39, 32 and 39, it say that the Most High the one really do the killing. But your thoughts can get you put into that. You know, whether he have you go do somebody dirty, you know what I'm saying, because of what you was thinking. He could have had him just get in a car accident. He could have had him overdose. He could have had him fall down the steps. You know what I'm saying? He could have had him get hit by a car, stop their heart, get sick, anything. He could have had anything happen to him, but your thoughts tied you into it. So, you know, let me just read Matthew 15 and 19 one more time. It says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. So you had to think about that. Let's show this verse 20 though. It says, these are the things which defile a man. Your thoughts defile you. That's what Christ say. Your thoughts defile you. When you in a state of defilement, you sinned. Mm-hmm. But hopefully, man, prayerfully, man, all praise to the Most High, that I've proven the point I was trying to make. When I'm saying Christ is explaining a few different sins when he says that if you look at a married woman, if you look at a woman with the idea of sleeping with her, you done already committed adultery. Because if because the Most High know if he let the situation hit, you will hit that woman. And if you thinking about doing harm to a person, and he let the situation get to that point, he know that you would do it, and you guilty of it. It says in Wisdom of Solomon, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, the thoughts. Because you would do it. You thinking about it, you would do it. You do it. All you just have to have a little push. You do it. Mm-hmm. But let me know in the comments, man. But all praise to the Most High, man. Shalom to the house of Israel. And shalom to you heathens, too.